guest is an Inuk actress, writer, and director who continues to make her mark in the entertainment industry, now starring in season 4 of HBO's True Detective. Please welcome Anna Lambe. Hi, Anna. How are you? I'm so fantastic. First off, your makeup looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. I am such a massive fan of the whole True Detective franchise. And playing Kayla in this 4th season is so... I can't even imagine getting that role. So tell us a little bit about that role and what we can expect from the season.
Yeah, I mean, getting that role, it was a shock to me. I was actually screen testing for a different job. I was in Germany, and, you know, my team is West Coast based.
Yeah.
So it was a 9-hour time difference.
Whoa.
And, you know, I had an early morning, had to get to the airport, and I get a call at like 2 a.m. And I was like, hello? My manager's like, Anna, I have some great news for you. And I was like, go ahead.
I'm sure you didn't need coffee after that phone call.
Oh my gosh, I like sat there in bed and I like cried for half an hour, and then I called my dad, and it was such an unbelievable and exciting experience, and to get like the news that like Jodie was a part of it,
Yeah.
and Kaylee was leading alongside Jodie. It was so fantastic, and it's been such a highlight of my career so far, and playing Kayla, who's a strong Inuk woman, and seeing that representation of, you know, people that I grew up with. You know, reading the character, I said I'm surrounded by Kaylas.
Yeah.
I know so many Kaylas, and to have that story told is really beautiful.
Yeah, and in such a big kind of, on a big platform,
Yeah,
too.
incredible.
It's really amazing. Now, the show is set in Alaska, but you shot in Iceland, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I read somewhere that you said that you felt like snug as a bug in a rug, which is an energy that I lean into. I love a rhyme. What was it like filming in Iceland?
Yeah, I mean, filming in Iceland was great. I'm from Nunavut, which is way up north, and it's, you know, cold in the winters. But in Iceland, they say they have warm winters and cold summers.
Yeah.
So shooting there, and it's kind of like, you know, -10 most days in like December, January. I was like, oh, this is great.
Balmy.
I love
Yeah.
this. And it was so beautiful. The mountains and the snow and everything reminded me so much of Iqaluit. So I didn't feel overly out of my element. I mean, it was a huge production, and I was like, whew,
Yeah.
walking on the set every day. But also, you know, it was just like, all right, there's something about this that I feel grounded in,
Yeah.
and very comfortable and happy with.
Yeah, it's a beautifully shot show, and the everything about visually watching it is, it really gets you into the setting. Like the setting in True Detective, it's always kind of a character
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
actual show. You mentioned though about representation in the industry, and we're seeing more Indigenous actors and actresses. But I've read that you've talked about how we need to go further than that, and it's not just about having one, like Lily Gladstone nominated for an Oscar. It's about continuing to open up the stories. Is it? I know it's obviously so important to you, but does it ever feel heavy to be someone who's standing in place for other people?
I mean, absolutely, and it's so incredible to see the representation that we are having and that we're seeing, and, you know, Lily Gladstone getting nominated for an Oscar is so unbelievable. But to keep pushing, and I think that's something that I admire so deeply about Lily, is that she uses this platform to keep pushing for more representation, for more accurate representation, and she continues to take on projects that aren't just like other, you know, Martin Scorsese's. They're supporting and uplifting and empowering community, and, you know, using her platform to continue talking about fancy dance, which didn't get picked up by any streamers, and pushing that story forward because it's meaningful to her. And I think that's something important that we all do, and, you know, we want to grow together as a community, because Indigenous film and television is so small, and everyone kind of knows everyone. So it's not just like uplifting other actors, it's uplifting your friends and making sure that you all succeed. So it's definitely like heavy at times and difficult, and there are times, especially with stories that revolve around trauma and hardship, and you know, for so many of us, there's no degree of separation from that trauma and our personal lives. And whether you want to or not, you tap into personal experiences. Like the first film that I ever did was a film called The Grizzlies, which was about the suicide epidemic in Nunavut, and Quluktuk having the highest suicide rate in North America in the early 2000s. And, you know, as incredible as it was to tell that story, it also was something that, you know, you kind of go home and need a breather and just some time to reflect. and very grateful for the support that we experienced on that set. But so much of the stuff that I've done has revolved around, suicide or missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Yeah.
And those stories are so important, and they need to be told, and that representation is so important, but also the representation of, of community, of healing, of growth, and of humor and joy that we find, because that's where we find our hope.
Yeah.
So, to push for that as well, and to continue amplifying that is something that I hope non-Indigenous people within the industry that have influence push forward as well, alongside all of these other important stories.
Yeah, it shows that there's life to it as
Yes,
well.
absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. Huge congratulations, and I cannot wait to watch the comedy, a little breather from the True Detective. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Season 4 of HBO's True Detective is now streaming on. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.